morning, students. PU ma'am before you. Today I am going to teach science of standard 7th B and C section. First chapter of science book is food production. Food production. First of all, we know that how do we produce our food. We know that we get our food from plants and animals. Some of our food items we get from plants and some of the food stuffs we get from animals. Then we know that the practice of growing crops is called food production. First of all, we know that what is food production, and we know that the practice of growing crops is called food production. After that, some of food stuffs we get from animals. So the rearing of animals in a large scale is called animal husbandry. It means that we get our food from both plants and animals. In this chapter we will describe the practice involved in the growing crops and look at some products we get from animals. First of all, growing crops. Plants grown on a large scale are called crops. Plants growing on a large scale called crops. And for your better information, there are so many food crops grown for production of food, also are called food crops. The food crops which are grown for the production of food, that foods are called food crops, such as cereals, pulses, oil seeds and sugar crops, while some of the foods which are grown for commercial purpose and such types of crops are called cash crops. Cash crops like rubber, coffee and spices are grown. These are called cash crops. So first of all, food crops means the crops from which we get our food grains like cereals, pulses, etc. and cash crops as like rubber, coffee, etc. There is also a term, whenever we describe about food production, there is also a term called horticulture. And we know that what is horticulture? The flowers and ornamental plants in which we read about the flowers and ornamental plants is called horticulture, means the branch of science which deals which fruit and vegetables are grown, that is called horticulture. In India, we know that there are also various types of crops classified on the basis of seasons of sowing. Crops like rice, jute, maize and cotton, which are sown during the monsoon, that crops are called kharif crops, while wheat, mustard, gram and so on, these crops are called rabi crops. Rabi and kharif crops. In India, there are mainly two types of crops. First, kharif crops. Second, rabi crops. Kharif crops, which crops are sown during monsoon, that crops are called kharif crops. And rabi crops, the crops which are sown during the month of October and November, that crops are called rabi crops. So there in India there are mainly two types of crops. After that, we learn that how we produced the crop. In the producing crops, there are so many methods, so many steps. First of all, we have to produce the crops, then we have to prepare the soil, and in the preparation of soil we have to take various steps such as plowing, leveling, etc. So today we know that what is agriculture, what is crops, what are food crops, what are cash crops, how many crops season in India, and what are the methods to produce the crop. Now you have to answer these following questions. First question, what is agriculture? Second, what is animal husbandry? Third, what are crops? Fourth, what is horticulture? And fifth, how many crop seasons in India? In this class, you have to give the answer of these questions, and in next video I will meet to you again. Okay, thank you.